How much of our success in sales and in life comes from our beliefs, whether they are positive or negative?
Well, I think that the studies on this show that having a positive mind frame and believing that you're lucky, as an example, typically puts you in positions where opportunities are presented to you. That there's no coincidence that the shop owner who stays open the latest is the one that wins the most business, because they simply see it as, well, as opposed to it being quiet or shut, it's quiet, so I'll stay open. So again, like, you've got to remember that luck and opportunity are a symptom of looking for luck and looking for opportunity. And I think that the salespeople that knock on the most doors often have the most success. So I think a large part of it is down to your perspective and your mindset, and also your beliefs as well.
Sure. I love how you tied this to optimism and positivity, because that is really well studied. And the simplest studies are getting people to walk from one location to another, and they'll put a £5 note, £10 note, whatever, on the floor. Pessimists will look at it and go, oh, well, it's not mine. You know, if I pick it up, someone's going to complain. I'm going to look like an idiot. An optimist will go, hey, great, free money, stick it in the pocket. So that is really well studied. So I appreciate that. So with that, then, I guess there's multiple ways we can go with all of this, but I want to kind of start at the beginning of it the best we can. How are beliefs formed in our brain? And is it a tangible thing, a belief, or is a belief a cloud of randomness that we label as a belief, and we try and label it the best that we can?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And in all honesty, I don't know the true answer to that, but I have some theories around it. And I think that these are kind of the building blocks of behavior and the building blocks of, again, perspective. And often beliefs are the early stage kind of mind frame or frame of mind that you have. And particularly when you transfer this into sales, and this is where I get really excited about it, is that people hold beliefs very dearly because they are that kind of base level building block to perspective. That when you start challenging beliefs, or you start peeling away the layers and you get to beliefs, often people find it very, very uncomfortable when you challenge those beliefs. And this is how, I suppose, how bizarre it is that obviously cognitive dissonance is where you can hold two opposing beliefs at the same time. And regardless of the evidence, you can still not change your mind because you're so strongly attached to that belief. And it's such a foundation of your whole perspective that it's very difficult to change those beliefs. So when you look at like the questioning stage, or when you look at challenging an objection with a client, often salespeople go in there and they're quite combative about this. Whereas I'm always training people to actually, no, let's be collaborative and peeling away the layers. Not just look at the logic of someone's belief, but also the emotional side that's attached to that belief as well. And that will often help them change that perspective. I guarantee now, Will, be it political, be it a football team that you support, you'll hold an opposing belief or two opposing beliefs. And you're quite comfortable with that because you're so tied to these beliefs at the same time. And that is cognitive dissonance, right?
For sure. It's almost like we don't question them, and you need someone else maybe to go in there and start prodding and poking at things to bring the cognitive dissonance and negative beliefs to light. So let me ask you this: if you were doing coaching, if you were doing some training, if you were creating a YouTube video, and you could only focus on one of these two things, which would be the biggest bang for buck for people to work on? Would it be learning the skill of challenging buyers' beliefs and assumptions and being able to break through them and have transformational conversations with them? Or would it be more effective on their sales career for them to understand their own negative beliefs and perhaps what's holding themselves back?
Well, they're mutually inclusive because by definition, learning is probably deeply ingrained in the belief system itself, right? And we talk about fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And again, these are beliefs, right? We talk about the luck scenario that we used very early on. This is no different when it comes to how people learn. Some people sit there and say, well, I've learned everything at the moment, so I don't need to learn anymore. And that's very much a fixed mindset. Or they look at things like, I don't know, accountability, responsibility. You know, when things go wrong, salespeople typically blame the client, where the great salespeople actually look at themselves and go, what could I do differently? What's the lesson I've learned from this? So I know this is going to sound deeply meta, but I'd actually look at how you learn in the first place. Because in my experience, having trained, thousands upon thousands of salespeople and sales managers globally, there's something that sets aside the real talent, and that's people who have the ability to self-analyze, to learn, to be critical of their own performance, to listen back to their own performance and dissect it and look at it in that way. So I think you need to almost look at learning as the framework, and then go and see what you're going to learn. But I'd always start with yourself. I mean, you can't change a customer's mind until you've worked out that changing your own mind is actually quite a good thing and not a bad thing. And there's this perception with changing opinions that it's a bad thing. It's actually an incredible thing. Being able to change your own mind, having seen evidence and thought about it, is so powerful. Yet people are so stuck to these beliefs because they think, well, no, I identify with that belief, therefore I can't change it. And that for me in itself is fascinating. I change my mind all the time when the evidence is there.